Hey, I'm Shane from Shane Smith Law. Today we're here with Ashley, one of our attorneys here at Shane Smith Law. We're going to talk about one of our client victories. This is when we have a particular case and we get a great result for this particular client, and we go into the details of the case itself. So, Ashley, tell us about this case. What happened?
Well, ironically, we've kind of spoken about it already, but about his wife.
Okay.
So we had one good settlement already for his wife. His settlement followed shortly thereafter. But just since we're not saying names, I'll recap what happened. Essentially, they got rear-ended so fast that the defendant's car ended up underneath their car.
Okay.
So last time we talked about how that's torpedoing.
Right, when it just goes right underneath. Yep. And the back end of your car is sort of jacked up in the air, right?
Yep. Caused over $10,000 of damage to the undercarriage, so not much you could see just looking at the car, but if you were to go underneath, I mean, you don't even have to go underneath. If you kind of turn and bend, he took a picture like that for us, you could see springs and everything else just hanging from the car. It was totaled out. A like $25,000 vehicle that they had just gotten completely totaled, so the damage was bad.
And it's crazy the number of times it seems like people get into car wrecks right after they get a new car.
Yeah, it's really weird how frequently that seems to happen with our clients. Sometimes it's one that their dream car they've been saving up for, that they get it for maybe a couple of months before something happens.
I had one particular client, similar situation. He got his car, it got totaled, then he went and borrowed his wife's car, drove it, also totaled, and he's like, "Oh, Shane, what is going on?
What's following me right now?" Yeah. So similar to his wife, he was pretty hurt. Went from the scene in an ambulance to the hospital. Started with a chiropractor. Had a lot of symptoms of tingling in his hands and his feet.
Okay.
Knew it was going to be something bigger than what most chiros can handle. Yeah. Started seeing some orthopedics. We actually had to go through several orthopedics before we got some treatment that seemed more effective.
Okay.
So he had a number of herniations and disc bulges to his neck and his lower back.
So my guess is they could all find it, they just weren't able to get rid of his pain, is that right?
The first person he went to actually didn't do a lot of diagnostic imaging. We started with some injections, which would have been the way you ended up going anyway with the injuries he had. He had the symptoms that correlated to it, wasn't responding at all to what we would refer to as conservative care, so chiropractic or physical therapy. And when the injections didn't seem to be doing well, or they'd last but would fade really quickly, where his pain would come back really fast, at that point we switched to get some imaging done because we needed a plan B.
Right.
So we ended up going to another doctor that did some ablations to his neck.
Okay.
So they're going in and actually burning the end of the nerve, deadening it, that way it can't pick up on the pain receptor. I
was going to say, and I've had doctors tell me that if you do have injections, and if they're effective, even if they burn off super quick, it tells them where the injury is.
Yeah, they're targeting the right area.
It just means that you may have to do something a little more invasive to deal with it, which is exactly what happened here.
And that's exactly what happened. I would say his case is a really good point to make sure your attorney is really familiar with these injuries as well as the medical side of it. In his case in particular, we were able to get him a really good settlement because I had some background and then did some more research to support it, but those ablations aren't permanent.
Right.
When they destroy it, they destroy the nerve, but you've got a protective layer around that nerve called the myelin sheath. And the nerve essentially can grow back into it as long as that sheath's still there, which can only be removed surgically. And most doctors won't go into your neck and do that. It's too high risk of a surgery.
Sounds risky and dangerous.
Yeah. So they won't do that, which means there's a very high likelihood he's going to need to undergo this nerve burning again within the next 5 years.
I was going to say, how often are they having to do these ablations to keep the pain under control?
So he's only gone through one set at this point. At that point I thought, listen, your meds are decently high. I think I've got enough knowledge to argue for the full policy here while you're feeling better, and make sure that you walk away with something, that way when you do need this down the line, you have the means to get it done.
Okay.
And that's what we did.
And I was going to say, is that what you were able to do?
That's what we were able to do. I mean, he still has some lower back pain, nothing like it was after the accident. His neck is pretty much resolved at this point, but again, that's not indefinite.
Right. There's
guaranteed.
There's that fear, and honestly, the literature, a lot of it says is you're going to have it again in 5 years. Kind of like if you tear up one knee, you're probably going to tear up the other one too.
Yeah, exactly. So I'd like to think that's kind of where our office stands out. It's not just, hey, go treat and come see me and we'll deal with the insurance company. Yeah. It's walking through our clients during the treatment process, understanding their injuries, but then being able to articulate to the insurance company when they say, well, his neck pain's resolved, why should I care about futures?
Yeah.
Well, here's the literature that shows he's likely going to need to do this again, and he shouldn't have to pay for it then either.
Right, because you've broken your toy and you've glued it back together, but it's still broke.
Yeah, exactly. So we were able to get him a really good settlement. Him and his wife were both happy. I'm really happy we were able to take care of both of them.
That's what I was going to ask.
Well.
Was he happy too? I mean,
yeah.
This got resolved shortly after his wife, so I'm sure they're like, "Hey, Ashley's the greatest person in the world, huh?"
So it was helpful because they were able to actually replace a car with similar value, which was great.
Okay.
So it wasn't a total loss because it's the property side of things. I personally don't think our law really takes good care of people. I don't think they're made whole per se from the accident or from a settlement for property damage. And then with the rest of the funds, they were able to actually take care of the rest of their mortgage, so at least they've got one financial burden taken care of.
Good deal.
And they can rely on health insurance for future needs.
Well, it sounds like they picked the right attorney to help them on their case, and it sounds like you got a great result for both of them.
Yeah.
And so thanks for that. I'm sure they were happy. And for all the listeners, hit like and subscribe for more client victories from Shane Smith Law. And remember, if you're in pain, call Shane, 980-999-9999.
In pain, so I call Shane. 980-999-9999. In pain, call Shane.